So we're just sort of rambling and learning a little bit about HTML and CSS. And we saw how an ID can only be applied to one element on a page, right? And this is a way for us to identify, that's why it's called ID. It's a way for us to identify something on a page and target that with our CSS. So when we have an ID, right, we in our CSS put a hashtag #cowgirl, and that targets this. So that makes that a horizontal line. And if I have a class, so I could do div dot surfer girl, and I will do 2 of those, right? And so a class can be applied to multiple elements on a page, and then you target that over here with a period, surfer girl, and height. And this one I'm just going to do border, bottom, 2 pixels, solid, chartreuse. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So there's no space between those, so I'm going to put spaces, and I can use the BR tag to do that. And then refresh this page. Now I have spaces between all those. It's a little bit hard on the eyes, reds and greens. So I didn't actually need this height element, so I could take that out. You shouldn't have declarations you don't need. I didn't need that height declaration. So always like test, do I need this? No, it didn't change it, pull it out. And that way you don't have excess code. So next one we just learned about is BR. So just adding this to our list of elements that we're learning about. We have more HTML. What's this called? We'll call these more HTML elements. And so this one is BR. And the ones that we've seen so far are link, okay, HR, BR. And we saw you shouldn't use HR. All your styling should be done with CSS. And so HR kind of being a horizontal rule, it's kind of like styling. So I'm going to do that with CSS. That's just keeping the separation of concerns. And the BR is a break. These are all self-closing tags. And then we have image. So link takes a href. An image takes a source. So if we were to throw an image in here, and so this one here we did ID in class, and that's fine. We'll keep doing it on this one here. So here we have image. So image takes a source, and I should just have like a default image that is always available at the root of our thing. So I could just go up 1 level and get it. Hey, oh, I have to go up 1 more level. And where are you, brother? So go up a level, and I have 0 readme. If I go up 1 more level, no suggestion. Shouldn't that take me into, I'm right here, I go up to there. Let's see what happens if I just type it in, pure.jpg. Well, there it is. I don't know why it wasn't showing it to me. So image takes source, and link takes href. You can remember link takes href, because how many letters are in link?
4.
4. How many letters are in href?
4.
4. How many letters are in image?
3.
How many letters are in source?
3.
Okay? So it's kind of a little mnemonic device. And then over in the CSS, we could have, so there's my selector body for my rule set. Now I'm ready to do a declaration. Background image. Anybody remember what background image takes? URL. Okay, I don't have a 3-letter deal for that one. Okay, but it's like, okay, you know, you've got background image takes URL. Image takes what?
Source.
Source. Link takes what?
Href.
Href, okay? And I just figured that out right before I recorded this video because I always got him confused. I was like, wait a minute! I think I've thought of that before, but then I forgot. So there's image. So these are just self-closing tags. And then input, source, embed, param. We aren't worrying about those right now. everybody should understand that tags are nested and that we have parent, child, ancestor, descendant, sibling relationships. Those are just different terms we use to talk about nested tags. So if we looked at nested tags, right? Okay, these LIs are what in relation to the UL? Describe them. These LIs are what in relation to the UL? Child. They're a child to UL or a descendant. UL is what in relation to the LI? It's the parent, right? Or the ancestor. Okay. LI is what in relation to LI? Siblings. Those are siblings. Okay. So that's just how we nest tags. So let's just keep scrolling through this. And then we saw this CSS. And we've learned about Semantic HTML. Who could tell me what Semantic HTML means? We haven't really learned that then, huh? All right, so we'll learn that. And Semantic HTML, as we learn more elements, the element should tell us something. Semantic means meaning. And so we'll learn that there's like the header, the footer, the main area. There's articles, sections, nav. So these are elements which tell us what area of the page we're building, you know? So it's semantic. So the name actually conveys meaning, semantic HTML. You want to avoid using, divs if something else is more precise. And then we've learned what a rule set is. So a rule set has your selectors, your declaration block. Your declarations have declarations. And then the declaration, each declaration is made up of a property and a value. And we saw that last week. I thought we had a README file for that. It's all homework above the fold. I don't know where it is. I'll stop trying to find it. And I'll just recreate something. Remember that one nice page where I listed it out, gave examples? So link, href, be main.css. And then the declaration, the rule set has selector or selectors, and then declaration block. And every declaration has a property, like color, and a value, blue. Okay? Property values. So a rule set has selector, declaration block, declarations, properties, and values. And so then JavaScript is functionality on the client side. So HTML is the structure, CSS is the formatting, and JavaScript's the functionality. Okay? Like check this form, make sure they filled out their email address before they could submit. So we already know about rule sets. We already know about linking CSS to HTML. We could have an external style sheet. That's the preferred method using the link element, which requires the href attribute. Internal styles, also embedded styles, right? Embedded styles, inline styles. You could have multiple CSS selectors. So your rule set could have, hey, select these different things, right? Your rule set might look like this. Okay, and my rule set might have these selectors. Okay? So properties and values. So configuring your environment, WebStorm, Atom.io, Sublime, Dreamweaver, becoming skilled with GitHub, creating a master local Git repository, creating origin master, essentials. So file naming conventions, folder naming conventions, opening a project, essential tags, Emmet.io, tag attributes. Let's just keep scrolling through this stuff. File naming conventions. File HTML pages should have HTML. Your index page should be index.html. That should be the name one. Use alphanumerics only in page names, A through Z and 0 through 9. The only exception should be dash or underscore. Never use spaces in web stuff because it ends up as %20. And always use lowercase when naming files. Where does that take us? Some article. Folder naming conventions, CSS for your CSS, JS for JavaScript, images for images or pics. Essential tags. So we've got the paragraph tag, H1 through H6 heading elements. We've seen the heading elements, right? Anybody have questions about those? We have unordered list element. We have ordered list. And in Emmet, we have a sibling selector, which is the plus sign. Why might you use a plus sign for a sibling? Does that make sense? For me, it's kind of like, hey, plus this person next to me. Or you go to a party, RSVP +1. Yeah, I'll be attending +1, you know? So it's like, that's kind of like somebody right here, my peer level, same level as me. A child selector, that kind of looks like, here I am, and then somebody smaller than me. Child selector, right? So just, we'll see that with CSS as we get into CSS more. So that's just a little bit about Emmet. And you see me do stuff like that with Emmet. So if we wanted to play with Emmet, you know, I can't help but to clean up any CSS where I just got wonky stuff there. If I wanted to play with Emmet, and I wanted an H1 followed by, with a sibling H2, there we go. Okay? That would give me that. If I wanted a UL with a child LI, that gives me that. Okay? And numbering is the $, so UL child LA times 10, and then content is between curly braces, and numberings will be $. So if I had that, it gives me that. I've got a UL, it has an LI as a child, and then I want to put content there, so curly braces and $signs means I'll numerically number it, and I want 10 of those, multiplied that. The 10 applies to the LI. If I wanted to apply to all of this, I could do parentheses, mathematical operations, and I don't know what that would give me. Just out of curiosity. You give me 10 ULs with 1 LI in it. And those would numerically number. Tag attributes. Tags may have attributes. So the link has href. Image has source. Anchor has got href. So maybe just think image is source, link and anchor are href. Paragraph element, you could apply a class attribute. Attributes have values. So those are just examples of attributes. So link, image, anchor. And then we talked about relative versus absolute URLs. So a relative URL is a URL that's referring to something within the same website or domain. It's relative to one resource. Where's the other resource? So this one here, what does that tell us? How would you read that? So if that's in a file, where are you asking for this thing? Like maybe I'm using an image source and the source is set to that. How does it read that? What is the directory structure based upon that relative URL? Yeah. Yep. So right here, the document I'm in, at the same level, there's a pick folder. If I go into that, then there's an anatomy of an HTML element. The next one is, hey, right here, the folder I'm in, I have to go up a level in the folder structure, and then there's a pick folder. Go into that one. All right. Full URL is like this. It's just like, hey, anywhere on the web it could find it. Or it's absolute. If it starts with a /, it's absolute to the root of the website. From this point, the beginning of the website, go to down to this thing. Okay, absolute URL. So you've seen HTML comments and CSS comments. The easy way to put them in is just to, I don't know, Control Command / in WebStorm comments. So that's what they look like with HTML comments. Boot, boot, comments everything out. So some hands-on exercises. That's already homework that we did. And the next thing I'm going to show you is section overview, HTML tags and attributes, CSS selectors and properties. I don't know why that one's all the way over there. That's funny. HTML tags and attributes, all CSS selectors and properties, border, border radius, box model. So we got some cool things coming up. But let's get your brains back out of zoned out mode and let's code something. So what I want you to code is, and I'll do it first, and then you could do it so you see it. Link to a style sheet, and I want you to put in an image of some sort, and that should be here. And so we have link, image, and I want an anchor, a break, and then I want a div, and this could be class line. And then I want an anchor, which will have an href, HTTPS, colon whack whack. Taking Google or the Onion. Let's see what the Onion's saying. And then over here in your CSS, your image width, and we'll do 400 pixels. Border, 10 pix dashed orange, and the line will be border bottom, 1 pix solid crimson, and then we could do another break here, and the anchor, I want it to be font size 32 pixels. So when you see this, And oh, I want this one here to have a target blank. So there's the code, and here's what it should look like. So weird. See if I could scroll that up a little bit. Cool. Code that up.